Hi everyone, I'm Echoes and I'm a VTuber, and I'll be going over episode 7 of Hat Atelier. Apologize for the delay as I wasn't feeling well earlier this week and I've been busy, but now I think I've caught up and we'll take the time to properly analyze this episode. So, in the beginning, we essentially have a continue because this is part of a small arc, right? So, we have Orruggio with, I believe, Agott on a horse in order to help a carriage or cart that has been stuck in the river. So you can see Agott here is like, oh, please take me with you. And then where Qifrey is like, warning her is like, this won't be like your lesson. This will be practical. You're not even allowed to cast magic in front of people. But Agott's like, okay, no, I've been practicing so much. I've been preparing for this test so long. Shouldn't master seek more opportunities for his parents to gain experience? So she wants to get more practical experience, which makes sense. And then you can see that this guy here, he's urging them to be quick because they're at a time sensitive moment right now. And you can see that Kifrey does give her permission, so she grabs her stuff, and the other girls also get their stuff as well. And this is where Rugio is like, there are things to learn from experiencing reality as well. So he's confirming that there is some practical use in this case. And but Kifrey is understandably worried because here he mentions she focuses not on the joy of what she accomplished. What does he say? But the frustration of things she can't yet do. So in a way, she's more focused on the negative than the positive here. It makes sense once you understand her background, which the episode will go into detail later. And there's nothing wrong with being inexperienced. So you can see they're continuing on horseback, and then you can see that the carriage is stuck in the river, and a lot of their items are, and some people are stuck inside. They skip the opening. So, and then you can see the common folk from the carriage are like, oh, the people are here. And Orruggio gives her the his rings to dry off the people, and then once you're done, wait for the orders and stuff. And you can say, God's like, is there something else I can do? And then you can see that Kifrey's understanding, Orruggio's understanding Kifrey's worry. I can see why Kifrey's worried. Here you're too impatient. There are better settings for you to show off what you could do, so think carefully about what magic is for. So he's giving her like a bit of a warning here. It's like, you need to be more intentful with what you do, right? Because Agott quickly wants to prove herself, but this is perhaps not the best time. And then you can see that Agott's like not happy. It's like, oh, he's just treating me as like ignorant child. I need to prove myself to that person again that I'm worthy. And then Qifrey comes in with his water sword here to part the river. And you can see that Teti is helping by making sure the people stay away from the side because it's not stable. It's dangerous. And you can see that Orruggio is helping rescue a few people left in the carriage here. And then while Qifrey is blocking the flow of the river so that Orruggio can do what he has to do. And then you can see that he rescues this young boy who actually will end up being pretty important later on. Not right now, but he plays a bigger role later on due to him being a sort of a contrast to Coco. But I'm not going to go into detail of that. But he is important, so just keep an eye on him. And then you can see that he's reunited with his I guess his father figure. And you can see Custas like, I was trying to protect the cargo, but it didn't really work. And then the apprentices brought medicine, so they're going to help them feel better. You can see that they're looking at the sword. The apprentice is looking at the sword now. It's like, oh, this is so cool. It's the rain cleaver, and you can see that he goes into detail how it works. That essentially a pattern is inscribed on the blade, which is made up of multiple casting seals. And as small as they are, with that many seals, you could even carve a path through the ocean. And you see the apprentice want to try it, but it is kind of dangerous. So he's not letting them do that. And you can see that both of the teachers are checking upriver and downriver just to make sure to check for damages and stuff. Bringing Tetia and Riche respectively, while Agott and Coco are here because they don't have their own sorting shoes with them. See that they're helping the common folk here. You can see that Coco's happy that, you know, she was praised for her actions. And then you can see that Costas is trying to get one of their items. I guess he's trying to get his father figure's instrument, but it's really dangerous. So the side river crumbles, and Costas gets buried underneath. And you can see that they're trying to keep this guy back. And then Coco also got mixed, so she's fine, but Costas is not. And then you can see that he's desperately trying to ask for her to help. And then you can see that like she feels she wants to do something, but she is powerless without her shoes. Because I can prove that they were wrong about me. And then all the computer like, oh, are you gonna do something? And you can see that she's feeling nervous because now she has the attention of everybody. And now she's remembering a memory of how she wasn't seen as skilled or talented as other people, which you can see other people are mentioning that. Like, and then who's the most disappointed is her mother. Family has no need for someone with no talent. This was back when she was younger and she had longer hair. And she was probably, what do you call it? She was forced out of her family. And it's like, why am I not able to do anything? But you can see that Coco is able to bring her back. And it's like, and she's like, I want to save Costas. And then you can see she remembers Olruggio's words, like, think carefully about what magic was for, which helps her revigorate her focus right here. And you can see that she's checking on the situation. It's like, oh, I'm in the gap in the bank, so the current's a bit slower there. I don't think it'll sweep me away, but it's also really slippery. And the coast is pinned by a rock, so you can't move. And then you can see that, oh, I can't let on witches see me drawing spells. So you can see that with Coco's with urging, I guess, Agott knows what to do now. And then we get a slight tangent to the Knights Moralis, who are briefly introduced here. We meet Isahisu in Japanese. I think it's called Isthis in English. He is the head of the Knights Moralis, who are essentially the technically, I guess, the magic police is a better word for it. Where they report of there's a report from a village on the outskirts of Khan that a huge pill of water was seen on the river, so they go to investigate. Situation is dire, but she hasn't given up. This is where Coco's able to get secure footing, and she's like, "Help me!" And then you see, "Give me the thing, the link rings." So she uses that to dry off her stuff, and then she knows that but Coco can't is not as skilled yet, so she's not able to distract other people. Because because the thing is that she can't show that they're doing magic in front of people, so they hide it under their cloaks. You only draw with your muscle memory. And then you can see that what Agott does here is that she distracts the common people with a spell that she's done so many times, is that light spell. All that practice shows that I wouldn't be afraid when it would be time to act. So she does one of her strengths, which is like really, what do they call it? Performative magic. Actually, it's one of her strengths, which doesn't really get talked about until later, but it's pretty cool that we get sort of a taste of it with this light magic spell. And then while they're admiring it, you can see that that Agott's like telling her, "Oh, you got to do what you got to do. I distracted them. You got to be quick." And they see Coco's figuring out what to do here, but she knows that she can't like levitate it because it's so heavy. And she sees that Costas is okay. And then you can see that it won't distract her for long. But it's like, it's beautiful. What can it do? And you can see that this guy's feeling desperate. It can't carry people because it's just a light spell, right? But you can see that if he looks down there, then Coco's efforts are for naught, but it looks like she was okay. Because essentially, she's able to, she did two things, which will be explained further. But right now, she's using the, the float spell, same float spell used as the shoes, right? Because if you can remember, she has some experience with that spell from when she took the Dagda Ridge exam before. So she actually wrote that spell on her on the bottom of her cloak to lift Costas up. You can see the spells right here, which other people don't normally notice. And then Agott's like, what did you do? she said that she essentially she's glad that she's okay. And then they explains what she did here. She essentially used the rock breaking spell they used when they were against the the dragon's labyrinth. Because even small, the rocker can break rock, can help them, but I wouldn't have done it, be able to do it by myself. You can see that God's like, I wasn't doing this just for you. But she's happy that they're happy that they were to help rescue Custas again. And maybe she'll be able to help her mother someday. And then you can see that they actually get captured by these banners. And then they recognize the Scarlet Cloaks, the hat, and it's like, oh, these guys are the Knights Moralis. And then you can see that he's questioning them. Like, are you the one who cast the spell, or was it you? If your children, you'll receive no mercy from me. And you could say, see that she's trying to defend herself. It's like, we use magic to help you. Would you do anything crazy? But then he asks, are you sure? And then they realize that the spell that Coco used somehow was amplified. I didn't just change a rock. It changed the whole side of the river to sand. Because it's rock breaking, it breaks the rocks, right? And then you can see that apprentice like you couldn't have drawn a spell of this size without violating a taboo. The laws of the day of the pack are inviolable. So, yeah. So, in a way, like this episode is really important because one, we get to be introduced to. There's a few things that's important. One is that it introduces how well that Qifrey and Olruggio work together because they're good friends. Two, it introduces Agott's motivations behind why she does what she does. Mostly trying to prove herself to her family, especially her mother. And three, we get introduced to Knights Moralis, who are the magic police. And then also one last thing is that we also introduced to Custas, who is going to be important later on. Not yet, but his role is important thematically. So yeah, but yeah, overall, like a really good episode, really good progression, and I'm looking forward to the upcoming episodes. Most likely next episode will probably get more details on the Knights Moralis and what they do as a job, blah 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 blah, etc. But yeah, anyway, that's all for me, and thanks for watching.